This is the RSPCA headquarters in God's Hill, Isle of Wight, and I'm here to meet a very unusual character. His name's Ernest, and he's achieved international fame, and we'll find out why.
Right, our special cat is called Ernest. He's worldwide superstar now, which none of us can believe. Absolutely amazing. He's been with us for 13 years and he's 15 years old. He was came in because he was a victim of a road traffic accident. We got him back to sort of full strength again and looked after him. Tried to rehome him, and people just passed him by. So we tried to home him for about 6 months and then decided that we'd keep him here on site. And we haven't looked back since. We make him work for his living. We try out all the dogs with him because he's so dog friendly, because you can imagine living here, he's just used to sort of Rottweilers or Yorkshire Terriers or whatever. And so we keep the dogs on leads, obviously, and see how they will react to a cat. So yeah, that's Ernest's role here, and that's his job. Going back about 3 months, we noticed that he seemed to have an eye irritation. So we got the vet to have a look, and they said that although it was at the early stages, that he had a condition called entropion eyes, and can be quite distressing for them. And the vets decided that they would have to do an operation.
I'm a veterinary surgeon at Green & Forster Veterinary Practice on the Isle of Wight, and we are the resident vets for the RSPCA, so we do all their clinical work, consultancy work, and all their routine health checks.
Tell me a little bit more about Ernest then.
Ernest has a particular clinical condition called entropion. Entropion is an inverting of the eyelids. It's sort of a genetic condition in which it's inherited. However, in cats, as they tend to get older, they have what we call a retrobulbar fat pad behind the eye. And unfortunately, as they get older, they lose that fat pad. So we do tend to see a bit of geriatric onset entropion, and as a result, the eyelids invert.
What were the options you discussed with the RSPCA for treatment?
Ideally, in a young animal, surgery is the mainstay of therapy, and technically there are a variety of surgical procedures that you can perform. So surgery is permanent when they're younger, but as they get older, you often have to go back and repeat it later on.
As Ernest is quite an old cat, is there a guarantee that the operation will work?
No, there wouldn't be a guarantee that surgery would work long term. The second option was contact lenses as an option to see whether or not that could control some of his pain in the short term, and if that was successful, discussing whether we used it as an ongoing management thing rather than a cure for the entropion.
The RSPCA have chosen not to operate on him, but fit contact lenses. I asked Paula Sadler how they went about it.
They took him in first of all and measured his eyes to make sure that they could get the right size. They fitted one initially just to see how he got on with it, if he would scratch his eyes or, you know, it would just be too distressing for him. And he never batted an eyelid. I didn't mean to use that pun actually.
So, the vet has decided Ernest should wear contact lenses.
This is the anaesthetic that we put in Ernest's eye. That's just so he can't feel what we're doing when we're putting the lens in. And this is the bottle which has got his lens in.
The contact lens just works by covering the surface of the cornea, which is very sensitive to pain and irritation. You know, if you get hair in your eye, how irritating it is. So really the bandage lens just covers the cornea to prevent that irritation. As a result, they don't feel the pain or irritation, and they tend to relax the eyelid a bit more.
At the moment we're changing Ernest's contact lens. We're doing the right eye today. We do this every 3 weeks, change it over, and obviously it's cleaned more often than that. Right, Corinne's now going to remove the old one. This is done with a cotton bud. It comes out quite easily. Good boy.
And are these particular contact lenses for animals?
No, they do make them for animals. I've only recently found out apparently they're normally used for animals with ulcerated eyes. The vet has now put us onto these ones, exactly the same, the human equivalent, that are about a quarter the price. We also have a sponsor for his contact lenses now as well.
My name's Tim Kidd. I'm the director of Specsavers Opticians here on the Isle of Wight. I actually went along to meet Ernest last week, and he's a smashing chap. He lives there, sits on the reception desk, looks like he owns the place, but he's a very contented cat with his contact lenses. I was very fortunate to be given the opportunity to help Ernest out by effectively sponsoring the supply of his contact lenses for the foreseeable future.
Corinne's now putting the new contact lens in. This is done by rolling it into the eye, and then you have to make sure the edges are actually under the eyelids. Although he's being quite grumpy, it isn't painful for him at all, because the anaesthetic has actually numbed the eye.
What's Corinne?
Corinne's now trying to pull the corners of it under the actual eyelid.
There we go.
And that's it all fitted.
Ernest is much happier with his lenses, and he's become famous because of them. The contact lens you chose, is that working?
He's doing really well with it. We've had to play around with sizes and things like that because each of the lenses have got a slightly different curvature to the surface of the lens, and also the diameter of the lens has to fit exactly for the surface of the cornea. So we've played around a little bit, and he seems to be doing quite well. The carers at the RSPCA are very pleased.
So the prognosis for Ernest is good?
Yeah, prognosis is good from the point of view that we're not causing any infection in the eye. He's got good vision, he's got pain relief, and they're all the things that we're really trying to do.
The treatment of contact lenses, will this have to go on forever?
Yeah, I think as long as Ernest lives, unless we go down the surgical route, it's going to be an ongoing thing really for him.
He seems very happy with them, and our girls are simply marvellous that they just put them in and out as if they were putting them in and out of their own eyes. It's just remarkable.
I asked Paula Sadler, how did he get so famous?
Initially, we contacted the local paper because we thought it would be just a nice little story because we'd never heard of it before. And they took a picture of him, and it was in the local paper. Then the Daily Mail was the first national to pick up on it, and they ran a story, and then all the other national papers followed, or pretty well all of them.
A great success story. So successful, in fact, he's gone worldwide now because, to my amazement, I had a phone call from Radio New Zealand asking me all about it, and Paula, our manager, gave a lengthy interview to them, and they were over the moon about the whole thing.
And then I started getting phone calls to do live radio shows from New Zealand, Canada, America, Pakistan, Wales. It was just absolutely phenomenal how it took off.
Really, and Ernest has had a chance to have a good quality of life, and I think really the RSPCA do a wonderful job.
Ernest's life's been transformed by his contact lenses. He's happy and contented, and his fame has spread all over the world, with thousands of hits on the internet.
It gave me the opportunity to put something back into the community by helping Ernest. Specsavers' well-known slogan is "should have gone to Specsavers," and in this instance, of course, Ernest did.
It's so exhausting. being a star.